The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of this station, its management, the staff, the listeners, or anybody else.
The following program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Doctor, we're losing him.
Nurse, 50 cc's of rock.
Stat! But that much rock could kill him.
I'm willing to take that chance.
Your perceptory senses are in for fun and some thrills, some amazement, and we think complete enjoyment.
Now, let's have a look and see what makes them so popular.
Welcome to my underground lair. You're just in time. Enjoy the show.
Hello, hello, hello. It is I, Crazy G, once again, and I am back in the G spot on this Friday, and I'll tell you, what a day it is out there here in Worcester, Massachusetts. Absolutely beautiful. The sun is not shining, but the temperatures are up, and I am all for that. I have a full plate today, and we're actually going to go to the phone right now because I believe we have the vocalist Nixon from Framing Hanley on the phone. You there, Nixon?
Yeah, man, what's going on?
Hey, hello and welcome to the G-Spot. How are you and what's up, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. First day of touring. It's like a kid on Christmas today, you know. The tour's starting out today. We're in Jacksonville, Florida right now. It's a beautiful day here. Glad to hear it's a beautiful day where you are. It's just a beautiful day, period, I guess.
Yes, it is. And, well, we kind of needed it up here. We had an extended winter, Nixon.
Oh, I hear you, man. We're from Nashville, and, it was extended even down there, so I can only imagine what it was like up in your area.
Yeah, it was a bit nipples for a few extra weeks. I'm not for it, but hey, what can I do? I live here. Framing Hanley has been around for, about 10 years now? For those who might not have heard of the band, can you tell us just a little bit about how you guys formed?
Yeah, we've been together 7 years. Don't age us those extra 3 years, man. Come on now. We had, started off a couple guys playing in bands, various bands together in high school growing up, and, kind of over time through mutual friends or through jobs in restaurants, we found different guys that came along and ended up becoming the five idiots that make up Framing Hanley today. So, a bunch of good Tennessee boys just playing rock and roll, which I think a lot of people don't usually expect when people say we're from Tennessee.
You guys have a long-awaited upcoming release, The Sum of Who We Are, and it's making chatter all over the place. Can you tell us the story behind the creation of this CD?
Yeah, we actually were setting out to break the record that Axl Rose spent on Chinese Democracy, and I think that we came close to that, but we ended up having to get... It was just, man, we did a Kickstarter in 2012. Our fans came through in full force, way beyond what we ever imagined even doing. That was a time when crowdfunding just really started really what it was nothing compared to what it is today. Now you have movies not even needing major film studios anymore and raising millions of dollars like Zach Braff just did for his next movie since Garden State. But it was one of those things where, at first we didn't know how we felt about it, but the reality was, we just left the label and there was an opportunity to do something different on our own. And, we felt if we made the perks cool enough and gave our fans, a reason to want to be involved, that they would, at least a few people would be involved with this. And, like I said, it was beyond what we ever imagined. We just, through a lot of trial and error over the past couple of years, going back to the drawing board, maybe taking a song that we worked with one guy and, redoing it and keeping some parts here and there. And just really, that Kickstarter thing, man, almost made it it gave it a weight, like an extra weight to this album than what, normally maybe an album would have when funded by a label or a band or something. Because the people that funded this album are the very people who are the lifeblood of our band and the reason that we're still doing this. So, we knew we had to make it special. We had to make sure that there were no questions with ourselves with this album. So we spent a lot of time on it, and I got to tell you, man, days now from release, and it's like I said, it's like a kid on Christmas morning right now. It draws closer. It feels real again, and it feels like almost like this is the first time all over again.
Well, the first song, Criminal, which was the first release off this CD, is sensational as far as I'm concerned. What was the idea behind that particular track?
You know, when you listen to it, you probably hear a song about a guy that he knows that he's doing all the wrong things, all because of a chick, you know, that's got his mind in the wrong spot in life. And I think we can all identify with that scenario. But it's funny because the chorus of that song originally, I'm really guilty of, you know, writing a lyric about something, and then later when it comes to piecing a song together, maybe I'll go back and look through lyrics, a lyric book, and find like, hey, that's kind of relative to the situation. And then, you know, sometimes part A and part B weren't necessarily written about the same thing, but it works together, and this is a perfect example of that. Originally, I had a lyric that is used in this chorus. Really, the premise of the chorus was, I have a 4-year-old son, man, and he's obsessed with Taylor Swift. And, you know, I would always tell him, man, come on, you know, I'm a rock guy, so I try to get my 4-year-old to listen to Foo Fighters, you know, Guns N' Roses. Like, I'm trying to get him into the rock world, and all he wants to listen to is the Red album by Taylor Swift. So I'd be like, come on, dude, you got to listen to this. And then I would find, when I wasn't around my son, man, I got to be honest, I would throw it on the Red album myself, driving around on my iPhone. So it was like, you know, I was breaking the law that I was laying down for my own son, and it was like, you know, there was a tongue-in-cheek lyric about that at first, like, damn, girl, you're making me a criminal. I'm doing what I'm telling, you know, my own kid not to be doing. So it's funny to see what that, you know, what that song turns into later with that added as the chorus, and, you know, and with the theme of the rest of the song. It, for me personally, just singing that, you know, even at rehearsals, I always have a smile on my face, because it's like, man, if only people knew the story behind this chorus and how it really had nothing to do with what maybe the rest of the song is about now.
It is funny and a very cool story. Another incredible song is Collide. What was it like writing that song?
That, for me, you know, there was a period during this album where it felt like, man, is this album ever going to be completed? Are we ever going to release it, or are we just going to keep pushing it back and keep saying it's not ready? And for me, when we did Collide, we recorded that with our old buddy Brett Hessler. We've done, you know, our previous 2 albums with him, and we just have a personal relationship with him where it's like he's you know, he's like one of us. He's been there since the beginning, and, you know, we can be brutally honest. We say when we like stuff, when we don't like stuff. And like that song was like, when we first had the scratch track of that version of that song, where we laid it down in the studio, it's like, man, this is it. And for me, it's like, it's got a raw energy of a rock song that I don't know that we had ever tapped into until that track. And, you know, I tell the guys all the time, that's probably my favorite, just through and through rock track that we've done. And very, very fun song to play live. We did it a couple dates last October in the UK, so I'm excited to play it for the first time in the U.S. tonight, and then, you know, later next month when we come up in your neck of the woods.
There's also another one, No Saving Me, is outstanding as well. How did this track materialize?
That's another one of those, man, where it, you know, I think we were kind of down in the dumps for a period of making this album, and Jason Rao is a good buddy of ours. He formerly of the band Red, and, you know, we kind of broke out of Nashville at the same time Red did, and, you know, we started playing shows in the very beginning, actually, under our previous moniker, Ember State, when they were just playing shows in Nashville. And we broke out at the same time. We did some tours together, and he left Red, started doing producing, and I was a big fan of his work with Red, and, you know, I jumped at the opportunity when we were both in town to do a track together, and that was one that we had previously worked on with another producer and felt like, you know, maybe we should spend some more time on that. And for my part, typically, I kind of stripped everything away that I'd become attached to maybe with that song, and, you know, kind of made it relative to where I was at that point in my life. And, you know, quite frankly, that you know, a song that opens up with I've been betrayed by stereo waves, my memories erased, replaced with bitterness, and fragments of an hourglass I pieced together piece by piece. And it really was, you know, not to bore you with some soliloquy of the first verse, but it was about, you know, where we were at that point. Was like, you know, we went from, you know, with Lollipop, obviously, that was a song that was really big for our band, and, you know, a big part of the reason why we are still a band today and able to continue doing this and have this fan base is because of that song. You know, for a while, maybe there was a disdain there, and, you know, we maybe ran away from that, but it was because of, you know, really how effed up this industry can really get, man, and we had a disdain after all this cool stuff we'd seen, all this cool stuff we'd experienced, all these great people we've met that have connected with, you know, our 5 jackasses and, you know, the music that we created, and somehow formed a connection with that. You know, that's a beautiful thing that, you know, for the rest of my life, I can see now that I should cherish that, because maybe the down down in the dumps period, made it easy to look past that and overlook that and look at, like, how we weren't anymore where we wanted to be, or, didn't even seem for period there to be making progress to get to where we wanted to be. And it really, the course of that, there's no saving me. It was just like, regardless, I'm here until the wheels fall off. Unfortunately, however you want to look at it, I was cursed with this, this music bone, and this is the only thing that I have this passion for, and I know that, like, I'm too far gone now, like that chorus says. It's like, this is my life, and, nobody can take that from me. And for a while, I think maybe we were letting people take that away from us, and it's a beautiful thing when you can finally just look at the fact that, hell, we have done things that, we could only have dreamed of doing growing up, and no one's ever going to take those memories away from us.
Don't let them. I've loved music ever since I was a kid, and I actually tried to get into it, and I just couldn't do it, but I'm inspired by a lot of artists, and don't ever sell yourself short. I don't bore very easily. I like listening to it. I like hearing what every artist has and what they've been doing and how they make their style of music. And you guys, you do it great. I mean, I streamed that whole CD the past 2 days, and I was like, this is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know you mentioned it briefly, and I could tell in your voice, but how excited are you guys for the release of The Sum of Who We Are on April 29th?
Man, like I said, it's really, as the days come on, it's just like it's hitting me that, like, it's here. We finally are getting this out there. This album that was a very, very big piece of our life, obviously, for the past few years. I mean, hell, to be honest, when we released The Promise to Burn in May of 2010, there are some tracks on the CD that I remember 2 months after that album release that we were on tour, and I was sitting around with an acoustic, or Ryan and I were sitting around with acoustics, or Brandon, and the Roller Coaster, a track on this new album, Some Who We Are, was a song that really the inception of that song was it was conceived really a month and a half after A Promise to Burn. So some of these songs, we've had for 4 years now, and we've been living with them, and to finally get this out there for people that do give a damn about our band, do care, and to be able to let them hear this music, see what kind of response that it gets, it's awesome. And I'll tell you what, man, the album coming out on the 29th, tonight's awesome. Tomorrow night we play a show in St. Pete. These shows are going to be cool. We hit the road with 3 Days Grace next week. Those are going to be cool. But when this album drops, and just that, even that first show after the CD release, to see just one person out in the crowd already singing along with some of these songs, I'm sure some people are going to be singing with Criminal already. It's like, that's a special feeling, man, to know that there's people out there who care enough to go and to listen to that album enough where they know the first show, after the release, they're there in the crowd singing along. It's a feeling that I'm getting giddy about just talking to you about it right now, because it's been too long. It's been 4 years an album, and that's 4 years is it could be suicide, career suicide for bands in today's day and age. So we're very fortunate to have, we call them our family, spelled FH, of course. We were fortunate to have those people here and that have our back, and are waiting for the CD. Have been patient, because I'll tell you, man, I'm probably more excited about the release than any of those things.
4 years. I mean, that's kind of a long hiatus for this industry. You must be somewhat anxious about this. How did it feel to finally be done with the CD?
I don't know if we're still done, man. We might say, hey, stop for us, man. Stop printing the CDs. We got to throw another track on there. The biggest weight gone. It's the biggest weight. Like, again, it's like, it was scary. It was, and I will take credit, or blame for a big part of the reason why it was delayed, and again, it's just got to be perfect for, the fans that funded this album. It's like, to feel like you, even as an artist, you're never going to feel like it's good enough to feel as confident and as proud of this album as we are now. It's like, that's the greatest feeling you could ask for, to know that, like, all right, cool, we're getting there. This thing's coming out now. It's real. It's tangible now. It's I pinch myself every day, just realizing that we're about to. It feels like, I guess, to answer that question best, it feels like it's the first time all over again. Like I said, man, it really does.
I can tell the excitement in your voice. Who are some of the musical artists that influence you and bolster your creativity when you write?
Man, it's all over the place, and I think that's a part of the reason why, on this album, I feel like it's not an album of songs that all sound the same. It's because we're very conscious of the fact, that a lot of artists might maybe get pigeonholed as to listen to a certain type of music, and then, it kind of, at least in art, I can't speak for every artist, but I know for us as a band, we could listen to an album by a band for like months, and then if we're writing in that time period, to me, I can listen to the songs and be like, well, I can tell that we were listening to, that the most recent Foo Fighters album, for example. There were probably a period of, a year where we just wore that album out, and there are songs on this album like Crash and Burn where I feel like you can hear, like, in the guitar, the licks of the guitar, like, it sounds like something like that. So for me, Foo Fighters is always, they're always going to be that band, and I know everyone in our band, every release they put out, we're going to make sure that we get it the moment it comes out. We listen to that thing, we wear it out. Thrice, another one of those bands, but unfortunately are no longer together. They're on hiatus, rather. Matchbox 20, believe it or not, is probably one band that all five of us are like huge nerds about. Like, I think Rob Thomas and Kyle Cook and their drummer, who's now a guitar player, Paul's their bass player. They're just consummate songwriters, man. And for me, that's my soft spot. Is a really well constructed story and delivered in the form of a song. There's nothing better than that. And I think that's really the type of artist we gravitate to that, and the artists that push themselves to evolve with every album. Incubus is another band I'll throw out there. I think those bands do it, and that's why they stick around, because with every album they want to show that they're not the same band that you listened to on the previous CD, and we try to keep that mindset when we're recording and we're writing.
You mentioned some incredible artists there, Foo Fighters being one of my favorites as well.
Oh yeah,
and
dude, I peed next Dave Grohl one time and fanned out. It was awesome at a urinal and at a festival in Switzerland, actually. And I'm taking a leak, go over to wash my hands, and the guy that was standing in the stall or the urinal right next to me is washing his hands, and I'm like, and I get up there and I'm like, oh my god, I was just peeing next to Dave Grohl and everything. It's crazy. Yeah, there are many artists that we would act like that about, but he is one of them, and it's awesome. And him and Nirvana were inducted in the Hall of Fame. It's got to be incredible for him knowing that he's going to be a 2-time inductee when all is said and done.
Very humble, very talented, incredible artist.
Oh yeah, man.
As you mentioned, you're going to be on tour and you're going to be hitting it full force. You'll be heading up this way around mid-May with 2 shows in Mass and 1 in Rhode Island. What can the fans expect to see from those shows?
Just a lot of passion, man. A lot of us pouring out a lot of attention and passion and all the shuns that we've built up over the past 2 years of working on this album. It's for a band like ourselves who back in 2009, 2010, we were touring 200 to 250 days out of the year, and my life has pretty much been daddy daycare for the past 2 years. Sitting at home with my kids, and then working on this album, and be able to get out and connect with these people in a live setting again and play these songs live, and to see what kind of reaction they're getting, and to know where we are in our band's career just by seeing the reaction. You can tell those things. You can tell if the music you're creating anymore is worth it damn, I guess. So it feels great to know that these live shows are starting up tonight, and there's I can't say enough about the other bands that we're bringing in that package with us. We got Devour the Day, another awesome rock band out right now. Starset, again, same thing to be said about them, and 3 Years Hollow. So it's going to be a package of 4 bands that are tearing it up right now on your radios, and we're looking forward to just getting out there and having a good time.
I'm looking forward to it myself. I'm hoping to catch one of these shows when you guys come up.
Sure, man.
Is there anything else on the horizon for Framing Hanley in 2014? Any news you'd like to share with us?
No, we'll be shooting the video for Criminal, I believe, and when we go home for a day, we're going to be shooting the video for that, and hope to have it out by the album release. And otherwise, man, you can just plan on hearing about a bunch of tour dates throughout the next year plus from our band, because it's been too long, and this is how a band really can only way a band can live nowadays is to get out there and to just work hard on the road, and that's what we're all about. And again, just being able to see all these people that again give a damn at all about us is an awesome experience. To be able to travel to these places and meet these people that care enough to buy a concert ticket. We're not naive. We know that the only reason that bands are able to keep continuing doing this is because of those people that are coming out and paying their hard-earned money for a concert ticket, a T-shirt, a CD. So we're going to be touring our ass off, man. And you can go to FramingHanley.com. All the tour dates will be continually posted up there. I know we got like 30 shows right now up there. And then other than that, we're going to be I think we're going to be a little more active on YouTube and just putting out content a lot more, and kind of maybe an inside glimpse of what it's like on tour for a band.
That sounds awesome, man. That sounds really cool. I know I'd be interested in checking that out. Listen, Nixon, I want to thank you. I've taken up a good chunk of your time this afternoon.
All right, I got had to miss sound check because of it, so it's awesome.
I want to thank you. I want to thank Framing Hanley. I wish you guys the best. The sum of who we are, I can't wait till it's out. I love the whole thing. Thank you, man. Thanks for calling in, and, I want to thank NewEnglandConcertReviews.com as well for hooking this up.
Oh, man, thanks for having me, and and thanks for the kind words. Hopefully I see you out at the show later next month.
I hope so, too. Keep on rocking, man.
I will do, man. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Hey, no problem. Anytime. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nixon, the lead vocalist for the band Framing Hanley, and I want to thank Nixon, I want to thank Framing Hanley, and I want to thank NewEnglandConcertReviews.com. Always love talking to artists, picking their brain on their new material, and having fun with it. Right now, we're going to get to some music. This is Framing Hanley. Hear Me Now, right here on WSUR.